On Monday, the 12th of February, Tree of Logic debated David Duke, former leader of the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, anti-Semite and Holocaust denier. They were discussing the so-called JQ, or Jewish question, which is the question whether the Jews dominate banks, media and entertainment, academia and governments worldwide. Like the alt-right founder Richard Spencer, Duke is damaging conservatism and the moderate right in general by his extremism, which means aiding the left. In fact, people like Spencer and Duke have much more in common with communism than with classical conservatism. During his conversation with Tree at the end of January, Spencer expressly said that he is not at all a conservative, and neither is Duke. In fact, the Jewish conspiracy theory favored by Duke and by the alt-right is almost exactly the same as that of the communists, going back all the way to Karl Marx, who was himself an anti-Semite, although being Jewish himself. It is a delusion of the fat, ugly, monstrous Jewish capitalist lurking in the shadows, always intent on suppressing the common people through his banks and his factories. It is no coincidence that the extreme right and the extreme left both support radical Islam, because it hates the Jews. Duke himself went to Tehran in 2006 on an invitation by the Iranian president to take part in a conference of Muslim Holocaust deniers. Likewise, the French communist intellectual Roger Gorodi was a Holocaust denier who converted to Islam in 1982, and there are many other examples. The debate between Tree and Duke really made no sense. Dr. Duke, which sounds like Dr. Doom, is a fanatic anti-Semite, and debating a fanatic is like debating a religious fundamentalist. They just don't listen to what you have to say. As Gavin McInnes has said, talking to a leftist is like talking to a drunk, and the same holds true for the extreme right. The leftists are blinded by their utopian egalitarianism, the extreme right by their ideal of racial purity. To the alt-right, as well as to Duke, there is one evil hiding behind all other evils, namely the Jews. Everything that is bad in the world is interpreted as ultimately stemming from the Jewish people. But Duke is not just a fanatic, he is also a criminal, convicted of tax fraud and, what's worse, of defrauding his own followers. Of course he was lying constantly during the debate with Tree. What else was to be expected? This debate was very different than one Tree had with Richard Spencer 2 weeks earlier for a number of reasons, the main reason being that Spencer wasn't lying, although he deflected a number of times, especially concerning his views on Hitler. The debate with Duke was a mistake on Tree's part, although she disproved him on all points, which was to be expected. She gave him a platform for spreading his lies, and the fact that she was constantly interrupting him during the open conversation may sway listeners to his favor.